It was quite a team then in the Northern Ireland team, quite a medal haul. The team, Jimmy Carson, Hugh Russell, McGuigan, yourself,
Tony
McAvoy, yes, from Ballymena,
and Kenny Webb,
and Kenny Beattie.
Kenny Beattie, yes.
Oh, wow, what a team, what a team. So I believe it was a great reception when you come home.
Well, yeah, big reception in Ballymena now, for me. Again, I'm taken away from the city, and I suppose I missed that end of it. Wouldn't have been the same sort of reception as Larmer got in the Shankill in '74.
Right.
But still and all, and it was nice to be recognised when you come home.
Well, that's what got me into boxing. That's what inspired me. I remember watching it on TV, and it was huge. It was absolutely huge. Yourself and Barry.
Yeah.
And that's when I started boxing. So after Edmonton, then, what happened in your career?
Well, after Edmonton, I took a bit of a break. I had been going with my wife, my wife, and we had just bought a house, and although we weren't married, and there was a bit of work to be done to it, and there was about, I think I spent nearly about 8 months trying to get it ready.
So you were out of boxing after?
I was out of boxing. I came back into the playing of the football. Played for Harryville Amateurs here down in Ballymena. But drifted back into it again, hoping for the 80
Moscow
Olympics. So I think I had 4 or 5 fights, and one of the fights I'd one loss because I went with the Irish team to West Germany.
Right. Well, no disgrace in that.
Right. And I was beat. We're now married. We're now settled in the house, and married life. I used to look at Larmer and look at Rogers and think to myself, they would have complained a bit about no money and no this and no that, and I seen where it was all coming from then. I'm now married. I'm having to keep a home, etc., etc. And there's nothing.
Massive commitment.
Massive, and promised everything. You're promised money here, money never materialised with the Irish Amateur Boxing Association. But anyway,
you beat David Irvine in the 1980 Ulster Senior Final.
Beat David Irvine in the 80 finals. David had won the Irish under 21s, right. And was I suppose Mickey, new kid on the block, good lad, David Irvine.
He is indeed.
So settling down to go down to the Irish Championships, and lo and behold, we come in. I'm working at nights again to make money type of thing to keep the house going, etc., etc. And walks into the house that night after coming from my work late, and opened the door, and the fire hit me up the face. So the house was on fire. But lucky enough, I'm only 100 yards from the fire station. I'm able to run over. Instead of ringing it, I'm calling them in from the toll bar that night. And anyway, the fire's put out, but the house is destroyed.
Eddie Thompson wants you to box against
Championships
Scotland.
goes on, and they know that the fire. Eddie Thompson, God rest him, a great man, great person, but Eddie probably gets me on a bad day. Gerry, you're picked to box against Scotland. I says, Eddie, my house went on fire. Yes, I heard about that, but do you realise that these guys are going to scrub you from the team that's going away till the Olympic panel? And my words were, Eddie, forget the Olympic panel and forget boxing. I didn't say I was a wee bit stronger than that. But anyway, that was the last time I boxed.
And you were only 24?
24, yeah.
Ah, wow. So you get into the coaching side of it?
I did.
The All Saints.
Well,
and you were a coach there for quite a few years.
I was there for 27 years.
And 2 your nephews, TJ and Dermot.
Well, they're not nephews now. They're not nephews. They're relations, all right, but they're not nephews. Yes, I brought them through the Commonwealth, the box at Commonwealth.
And Stephen Donnelly.
And Stephen Donnelly, who went on to box as an Olympian here this year.
So you've had a good life after boxing. You have your own business, a pork pie business, meat business.
Yeah, well, I'm since retired out of it.
Yes. And I'm up here in your house here in Ballymena, and you've an absolutely beautiful house. It's a mansion. Any regrets?
No real regrets. Probably the only regret I would have is that I'd maybe switched off a bit too soon. When on hindsight and I look at it, I probably could have drifted on to 26, 27. But the money thing comes into it. There's no doubt about it. The single fella and the married guy, 2 different lives altogether. The single guy can do it. The married guy, he needs pay.
Did you never think of going pro? Because you had a great, exciting style. You were very aggressive.
Before I went away, I went along with Bobby McAllister to a guy, a professional promoter. Turned out that he wasn't great, but he was showing an interest. I went till Bev Walker showed an interest. Mickey Duff showed an interest. Barney Eastwood was at me, and but my father was totally against professional boxing, and I think it was out of sheer respect for both my mother and my father that I didn't go pro. And you know, he said to me, "You'll make a life outside of boxing for yourself," and he was 100% right. But I wouldn't stop any young lad that would want to go professional.
Have you any advice for any young up and coming boxers?
The only advice I would have would be that to be truthful to themselves, and especially when if they get up into the likes of the elites or senior boxing, they can't to go to the gym 1 night a week or 2 nights a week. They must be there and honest to themselves in both life and both in their training aspect.
Many children do you have?
I've 2 lads.
Any grandchildren?
I've 2 great grandchildren.
God's blessed you with so much. As I say, it's a beautiful house. You've done really, really, really well for yourself. Is there anybody you want to thank before we finish this off?
Well, the men that I would thank for my boxing career have to be Gerry Story and the likes of Bobby McAllister. And obviously my own father, who although didn't watch me, stopped watching me after I was 15 years of age because he wanted me out of the game. He thought I had done enough. And he seen the old guys getting hurt, etc., etc. But thank God, and obviously my wife. My wife was probably one of the main reasons why I finished boxing. But at the same time, she was always behind me, and we realised that there's more to life than boxing. But boxing is a great sport.
Gerry Hamill, thanks very much for this interview.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it. God bless you.
John Rogers was very lucky to be away with John in '74 at the Commonwealth Games. When I say very lucky, I'm there as an 18-year-old, and John's there at coming towards the end of his career, I suppose, and to be along with him and the likes of Davy Larmer, who more or less chaperoned you, kept you right in everything that was going on. John could be a very, very funny person, and at the same time could be very, very serious. A couple of incidents in '74. One I remember was that John at one time thought, leading up the actual competition, that we were actually training too much, and John had this in his head and in his mind, and he went and he confronted Eddie Thompson, God rest him, and Gerry Story about what we were going through in the training that we were doing. And on hindsight, I suppose, what I have learned and what I learned in my own career was that coming near the end of your training and looking to fight, there was a bit of agitation set in and a bit of grumpiness, etc. And I think this is what was happening with John. John couldn't wait to actually get involved in the actual boxing, and it was all sorted out at the end. And at the end of the day, he finished up. He won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games. But a funny incident with myself and John and Davy was that on one of the nights, I remember we had to be in bed for 10 o'clock, and where our dormitory was, and with a movie house and one thing and another within the village, was a bit of a walk, and we walked across a big green, and I remember going over to the movie house that night, and I could see Larmer and John looking at something on the ground. I never paid much attention to it, but went on over, watched the movie. I can't remember what it was, but we had to be back for 10 o'clock. And anyway, Gerry Story and Eddie would have been waiting on us, and we were back at 10 o'clock and went to our different rooms. I roomed with Davy, and John would have roomed with Ray Heaney. And I remember going to bed, and it was a sort of a Walton's thing. Good night, John. Good night, Eddie. Good night, the whole lot of us. This type of thing. But I could hear them tittering and laughing, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And it was only till I got my feet at the bottom of the bed that I realised they had lifted a hedgehog and put it at the bottom of my bed. And listen, it put the fear of God into me. I couldn't go to the bed quick enough.
Of course, 4 years later, you chaperoned Barry McGuigan. You've done the same thing.
Well, that's a funny thing. And the strange part of that is that I remember talking to John on a serious note and where he was going in his career. And John said to me, you know, Gerry, I'm getting to the end of my career and I'll be out of it very soon. And my question to him was, what makes you say that, John? He says, when the training gets hard and you stop enjoying the training, that would be the time to get out. And he said that to me. And lo and behold, as you say, 4 years later, I sat for Kenny Beattie in the finals of the Commonwealth Games before I went out myself. And Billy had asked me the same sort of question where I wanted to be in 2 years' time. And I says, Kenny, to be honest with you, I think I'll be out. I think this is my last games. And there you are. That was John Rogers putting that in my mind.
Punching very fast as usual. Oh, and McKay's, that's it, I should think. I don't think this will go on much longer because McKay looks. Yes, referee Cosgrove says that's enough. I don't think he can be blamed because McKay really was being outclassed by Hamill, who year after year comes to these championships and shows remarkably good form. Oh, another good one. Nash is having to fight for his life here. We're in the last minute of this magnificent lightweight final, and it's still Gerry Hamill. Hamill unmarked as far as I can see. You notice that when Hamill does take a good punch, he doesn't stand around, he moves very well, uses his feet well, and gets himself out of trouble.
But Gerry looked up to me, John Rogers and myself, but in saying that, when Gerry was, he was very curious and always looking for advice. And I remember one time at the Commonwealth Games in Christchurch, where you have to realise it was 2 years after the Munich disaster, and a lot of security was tight, whereas the whole village was fenced in, and it was topped off with barbed wire and stuff like that. And myself and Ray Smith, there was a masseur with the Irish team, and Gerry were coming back into the village, and we had to show our passes. And I showed mine, walked up a wee ramp, crossed and down. Gerry showed his, same. Ray showed his, and the girl says, "Excuse me, sir, your pass only entitles you to come in daylight." He says, "I'm only going up to get my shaving gear." And the girl says, "Well, just you stand there and I'll get a security to escort you in and bring you out again." So as we were standing the other side of the ramp, we were waiting for security to come. Gerry says to Ray, "Give us your shoulder bag." And Ray gave him the shoulder bag. He says, "Now run up that fence line there, and when you get there facing where our billets are, run across and go upstairs." So Ray done what he was told, and he's up a line, and just as he's coming to break out from the shadows to go into the room, Gerry shoots, misses, he's making a break for it. And when we got to the room, but 15,
He's lucky they didn't shoot at him.
well, we got to the room 15-20 minutes later, we couldn't find Ray. Ray was under the bed, hiding under the bed, and when he came out, "Oh, never again, never again." So he had to leave that night and go out. At his insistence, he left and got a room outside in Christchurch, you know. But Gerry Hamill, as I say, could be a funny man, and when it came down to the fighting game, the boxing, he was very, very serious. And we had seen that. He watched John Rogers and myself like a hawk, always taking in information and always eager to learn, and a very good friend.